Welcome to the Idaho Business Podcast, where we talk with local entrepreneurs, share motivation, network with one another, and pick up a tip or two on how not to burn your business to the ground. I'm your host, Spencer Ward. All right, everyone, welcome back to another episode. As always, sponsored by Health West, great organization, great people. Also, my company, New Clean Commercial Cleaning. Give us a call if you have any janitorial needs. Give Health West a call. Give them a Google. See where they're closest to you, and let's just get on to it. Okay. As always, I kind of talk about subjects that if we don't have a guest, something that we've been dealing with, and something that's been in our minds. Okay. So this is something that kind of came up recently, and it's not something that's new to us. It's something that just comes up. And I think this will come up in everyone's businesses. So we just need to be aware of this kind of stuff. So one of the hardest parts of being a business owner isn't sales, isn't hiring, it's not cash flow. It's knowing the difference between an employee who's trying to make the company better and an employee who's slowly trying to tear the company apart. Okay, this is huge. Okay, at first glance, they sound almost exactly the same, but both of them speak up, both question things, but both point out problems. But one is an incredible asset, where the other one is quietly trying to poison your culture and poison the well, we like to say. So let's talk about the difference between those two today, and how one encourages and how to deal with the other before they damage your business. One of my favorite sayings is, he that is taught only by himself has a fool for a master. Ben Jonson said that, kind of a famous proverb. But I've always said that, I've always repeated that, and I find that so true. As business owners, it's easy to believe that we have all the answers, and after all, we started the company, we built it, we made thousands of decisions over the years. But if every great idea has to come from us, the business isn't going to get to the levels we want to be at, and it's not going to develop the way we want to develop. Some of the best improvements we've ever made here at New Clean didn't come from consultants or books or podcasts. It literally came from our employees. They're the ones out there in the front lines. They're the ones out there, living the culture. They're the ones driving the vans, the trucks, swinging the hammers, all that. They're on the front lines. They're seeing all that kind of stuff. So they're seeing inefficiencies. You'll never notice because we're sitting behind a desk most of the time. That's why great leaders don't just allow ideas, they actively ask for them. So every 120 days, we actually sit down with all of our employees and we ask, hey, how can we make our clients' lives easier or better? How can we make your life better? And what else are you noticing? What are things that we're doing well? These are the questions that we ask so we can continue to improve our business. Because if you're not improving, you're going backwards. Or you're just going to stay stagnant, and again, you're moving backwards. So Toyota became famous for its culture of continuous improvement. Every employee is encouraged to suggest ways to improve quality, safety, and efficiency. Over the decades, millions of employee suggestions have been implemented because leadership believe the best ideas come from within the company. I love that. Okay, so imagine if they had been ignored, or those ideas would have been ignored, how much innovation would have been lost. The same is true in our businesses. Okay, when employees bring up ideas, stop and listen, ask questions, understand the problem that they're trying to solve. Even if you decide, not to implement their suggestion, thank them for caring enough to speak out. So, because employees feel like their ideas don't matter, eventually they'll stop bringing them to you. And when your smartest employees stop talking, your business stops improving. I believe that, guys. And you'll see that. You'll see that your best employees will be deflated if you keep treating them like just an object or whatever it is. Treat them like human beings. Treat them how you'd want to be treated. It's the golden rule. So now let's talk about the other side. Okay, not every complaint is toxic. Sometimes employees are absolutely right. Maybe communication between departments isn't working. Maybe your scheduling process has become too complicated. Maybe a manager handled something poorly. Maybe you've created a policy that no longer serves the company. Great leaders don't dismiss criticism. They investigate it. So Peter Drucker famously said, culture eats strategy for breakfast. If your culture tells employees to keep their mouths shut, don't expect innovation. Now, whenever an employee brings me a concern, I ask kind of these three questions. And I have my manager ask these kind of three questions. First, is there truth in what they're saying? Sometimes the answer is yes. As owners, we don't know everything that's happening in our companies. Good employees often help us identify blind spots. Second, why was the decision made in the first place? Many employees only see today's inconvenience. Owners remember the mistakes that created the policy. Maybe someone was injured, maybe a customer sued, maybe thousands of dollars were lost. There's usually a story behind the rule. So take the time to explain that to your employees. Don't just simply say, because I said so. Teach them the way. Most reasonable employees simply just want to understand the reason behind the decision. Okay, so understand that, guys. Take that in and just realize you don't know it all. You as a business owner, you don't know it all. You can have good decisions and good ideas come from others. Okay, it's okay. That's okay. That's what makes a good business better. Okay, now here's where the leadership becomes difficult. There's a massive difference between an employee who's trying to improve the company and then the one who's trying to criticize everything the company does. A builder will say, I notice a problem. I think there's an idea that could make this better. Okay, I love that. A destroyer says, this place has no idea what it's doing. The policies suck. Everything sucks. The builder brings solutions. Destroyers brings frustration. Builders accept feedback. Destroyers argue with feedback. Builders want the company to win. Destroyers want to win the argument. Okay, healthy disagreement is valuable. How many of you seen that in your businesses? Okay, how many people just want to win the argument and don't really care about the business? That's a red flag. Andy Grove, the legendary CEO of Intel, encouraged a vigorous debate because he believed better ideas came from honest disagreement. And I love that. I love that. I actually just said to our staff manager the other day, she brought up something and said, hey, after I got done talking about something, how I wanted things done, she's like, I actually don't agree with that. And she stood her ground and she told me why she didn't agree with it. And we implemented what she wanted to do because I liked where she was coming from and I liked how she spoke her mind. And it was a little bit better idea. So, but constructive criticism has an endpoint. Okay, once leadership has listened, asked questions, considered facts, and made a decision, everyone has to get in line and row the boat in the same direction. You don't have to agree with every decision, but once the decision has been made, everyone has the responsibility to support it. Otherwise, you're no longer helping the company; you're dividing it. Okay, beware the chronic challenger. Okay, this is a big one. Okay, every business eventually hires one or two. if you're in business long enough, you're going to hire probably a few more. The employee who has an opinion about everything. Every policy is wrong. Every manager is incompetent. Every change is a mistake. Every success somehow overlooked. Nothing is ever good enough for this employee. These employees rarely offer workable solutions. Instead, they become professional critics. The dangerous part is they usually don't complain to management. They complain to everyone else in the break room, during lunch, through text messages, between job sites, on the rides home. Eventually, that negativity spreads, and there's an old expression: one bad apple spoils the whole barrel. Okay, negativity is contagious. Researchers have found that negative attitudes spread through teams much faster than positive ones. One consistently a negative employee can lower morale, reduce productivity, and increase turnover throughout an organization. That is huge, guys. You understand what I just said there? Negative attitudes affect the team a lot more than positive attitudes. So you have to have a lot more positivity in your company, your culture, to outweigh the negative. I've watched great employees leave companies because they have become exhausted by consistently hearing negativity from one coworker. The negative employee usually stays. the best people leave. That's the cost of ignoring toxic attitudes. So what should we do? First, listen. Every single time you got to listen. Don't become the leader who dismisses concerns without hearing them. Second, investigate, like we've talked about. Maybe they're right. If they are, then thank them. If then fix the problem, give them credit. Those employees become some of the greatest assets. Third, explain your reasoning. Many conflicts disappear once people understand why something is done a certain way. Finally, watch the pattern. After you listen, after you've explained, after you've made a decision, do they move forward or do they continue to stir up frustration? Okay, that's where you need to find out their true intentions right there. If someone continually undermines leadership after they've been heard, they're making a choice at that point to continue to stir in the pot, and you have to make yours. Okay. So one of your great responsibilities as a leader is to protect your culture. Not everyone belongs on your team. Okay. And I feel some of us, especially in industries that you're like, man, I'm more of a specialty industry. It's harder to find people. I get it, guys. But what is a negative person doing like that to your other good employees? They will chase them away. I promise you. Okay. Not every employee belongs on your team. Some people simply enjoy conflict. Some people want to complain more than they want to contribute. Some people have no interest in help building something. They just enjoy criticizing what others have built. Have you seen that? Have you witnessed that? I have. Those employees rarely become your top performers. Most importantly, they usually chase away the people who have become your top performers. Jim Collins, author of Good to Great, famously said, "First who, then what." Great companies are built by getting the right people on the bus and wrong people off the bus. Culture isn't protected by accident. It's protected by leadership. And sometimes that means making the difficult decision to part ways with someone who's poisoning the well. Not because they disagreed, but because they're refusing to become part of the solution. Okay, I love that. I'm fine with people disagreeing, but if all you can do is disagree, and all you can do is point out the faults, and you're not trying to do anything to be part of the solution, come on. Okay, so here's the takeaway: reward people who bring ideas, seek them out, encourage them, celebrate them. Never punish someone for respectively challenging the status quo in an effort to make your company better. But don't confuse innovation with constant criticism. One builds businesses, the other destroys cultures. As leaders, our responsibility isn't to surround ourselves with people who always agree with us. I say that over and over again. I hate just to have yes people around me. It's to surround ourselves with people who care enough to make the culture and company better, and are humble enough to support the team once a decision has been made. That's a big takeaway right there, guys, because great companies aren't built by the people who complain the loudest. They're built by the people who solve the most problems. So guys and gals, I hope this is relevant to you today or this week. Thanks for listening to the Idaho Business Podcast. If this episode challenged the way you think about leadership, share with another business owner. Chances are they're dealing with the exact situation right now. So as always, guys, go out there, be happy, be grateful, and find opportunities to serve others. And let's continue to make our businesses great. Let's continue to make Idaho great. And let's continue to bring the profits home to our families. Adios and have a great day.
That's it for today's Idaho Business Podcast. Hopefully you learned something new. And if you didn't, I've got a cheat code for you. Go to theidahobusinesspodcast.com, enter your email, and get my 20 golden rules for business. It's packed with my best advice, plus it's free. Subscribe, leave a review, share this with a friend. Until next time, keep hustling, keep laughing, and keep Idaho awesome.